April, and I have a book review. I just finished A Madness So Discreet by Mindy McGinnis, and I would like to give you some words. So in the normal review discussion pattern, I am going to talk about the book first in a non-spoilerly way, and then I am going to go into my thoughts that may contain some spoilers, but I will let you know when that transition happens. Okay? Okay. A Madness So Discreet. My journey to finding this book has just been different. I was just perusing along Goodreads, and all of a sudden, a new release kind of popped up. It was this cover. And I'm like, I know that art style. I've seen it before. So I went back to Brooke Shaden's Flickr account, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it is! Immediately, I'm like inquiring all over the place, asking, is this a Brooke Shaden piece? Is this Brooke Shaden's work right here? Because I need to know. I mean, the story sounds amazing, but I need to know. Eventually, it was released that yes, this is a Brooke Shaden piece of art. And that made me want this book so much more. The synopsis was very intriguing. This is a story about a girl named Grace who is secreted away to an insane asylum to keep quiet some family secrets. Now these are very dark family secrets that could potentially ruin the career of her father. So they don't want anyone to know about this. And this is set in a time period where insane asylums are not very nice places to be. There is a lot of inhumane things that go on. No one really cares about patient rights. One day things go a little too far and Grace just snaps. This leads her to being forced down into the cellars where all the really crazy people go. While she's there, she becomes acquainted with a doctor named Thornhollow. Thornhollow is into this new kind of criminal mind analysis of trying to get into why murderers are the way they are, and using that to solve crimes. He takes notice of Grace and how very astute she is. This leads to the doctor helping Grace escape, where they can then become a tag team in trying to figure out criminal minds and solve crimes through criminal pathology. This book goes to some very, very dark places. I have a hard time reading about how insane asylums used to be because of how nasty some people can be to the inmates, and especially when it's set in a time period when women just don't have any rights. If a man decides that he's angry with a woman, he just doesn't want to put up with her anymore, he can just go to a judge and throw her into the asylum. And that makes me angry. So reading this book, I had a lot of feelings. I wanted to strangle a lot of people, which I think is very indicative of how well this is written. McGinnis knows what she's doing. She's done some research and she's used it to put this book together, and it is put together very well. I have to say though, Grace was not the character I attached to. It was all of the characters around her in this story that I really enjoyed more than Grace herself. I kind of understand Grace and where Grace comes from and how she deals with all the things, but the way the story is written, I just enjoyed the backstories and learning about the other characters outside of Grace. That isn't to say that Grace isn't a very good character herself. She is. I don't know if I'd be strong enough to do the things that she did. But with that being said, this book prefaces itself as being a crime-solving mystery kind of novel that starts out in a insane asylum and then kind of whittles its way that way. But I don't feel like the main crime story was really that important to the story. Yes, the doctor takes Grace out and teaches her the way of analyzing crimes and how and why a criminal does what they do, but the main serial killer that they are tracking down plays a very minor part in the story, and I don't know how I feel about that. A lot of it just deals with Grace and how she forms friendships and deals with her past. That's mainly what this book is about, which is interesting because of all the things that have been done to Grace and how it affects her. So this is more of a psychological book than it is a mystery, a crime mystery, a mystery thriller murder thing. In the end, I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars because I did enjoy McGinnis's writing and I did like some of the places that the story went, but because the mystery part of it wasn't such an anchor for the story, I felt a little disappointed. I am now going to go a little more in depth into how I feel about some things in this book. Be warned. Okay, so this book just played a lot with my innards. A lot of it deals with women's rights in the time period and how Grace's father basically just used her, and when his sins started to become apparent, just kind of whisk her away. And then the guards in the asylum, how they treated the patients as if they were no longer human and they were their personal punching bags. I nearly lost it when Grace was hot wrapped. I mean, she had just fallen down, so it was very likely that she was about to lose the baby. And then they hot wrapped her, which I'm sure resulted in some extreme burns, and just how people were okay with it. And I know the second asylum where she ends up after the doctor takes her out and she starts the whole crime solving thing with him is a lot better than the one she left. And that felt a little weird to me. I guess I wanted a little backstory on why that asylum was so much better than the other one of the time period. Why did it suddenly, it was a weird jump to go from this like dark, deep place to this, yeah, we know we're crazy, but we're okay with that place. And I'm sure there was that kind of thing that went on back then, and it wasn't all just doom and gloom, but yeah, I don't know, guys. This is just gonna be a ramble, a very long ramble. I think the point that hit me the most in the book is when Nell decided that it was time for her to go, and she cut that hole in the ice, left her hair on the ice edge, and then left this world. That's the nicest way I can say she committed suicide. I mean, I can understand why that would send Grace into a very dark place and an unfeeling place, but at the same time, I find it hard to understand why it drove her to murder without guilt. Because they are two unrelated things. They don't really have any connection. And I don't understand a lot of human psychology because I'm not that kind of person, but I struggled with all of a sudden all of that. But yeah. So if you guys are looking for something that is a little dark and deals with some human nature and a little bit of crime solving, I highly recommend this book. And this cover, I will say once again, is amazing. I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.